Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of What If Naruto Was Shisui's brother with the yellow Sharingan, guys. Remember to get this one too. 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice. Yes, that's right, I indeed have 3 more channels which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. All of the links will be down in the description, so go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification because I do post a hell of a lot. So without further ado or waste any more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode? Let us begin now, guys. So, to do a bit of a recap for the last part that we left off, the envoys had came across Mito and Aruka, as some of them tended to their wounds and got them to the office while the others headed to find the other one, as it was Mizuki's partner. However, when they arrived they saw a pair of golden Sharingan looking back at them. It was none other than Naruto Uchiha, as he was dragging the dead body of Mizuki's partner. Returning to the office, Naruto told Harrison everything that he came across and everything that happened. The man had woken up with a vengeance to end his life, so he had ended the man's life before he could end his. Harrison could see that Naruto wasn't fond of talking to him. Ever since denying him the scrolls that would probably get him hurt, Harrison had seen the child had been angry with him. But he couldn't afford to allow the child to kill himself by accident, by handling extreme scrolls that he was not ready for. Returning home though, as Sasuke wondered what the hell was going on, as Naruto quickly pulled a large scroll and an ink pot as he started to write everything down. For the next 30 minutes, he had used his Sharingan to copy every single detail that he could at the moment out of the Forbidden Scroll. As he turned towards Sasuke, there was all sorts of techniques that he came across, and they were going to learn every single one of them. The next morning at the academy, as Naruto spoke to Mito, Mito asked him if he heard what Mizuki had said, but Naruto had not overheard that part, as she was glad. She didn't want him knowing that she was a holder of the 9 tails, or anyone their age. Before Kakashi was giving Team 7, Hiruzen had speak to him on behalf of the students. He wanted Kakashi to actually put in the work, as he could see darkness in both of those Uchihas, and he needed him to cleanse that darkness out of them. And there was also more things as well, in terms of their learning and growth. When the day finally came, as Team 7 consisting of Mito, Naruto and Sasuke faced off against Kakashi Hatake, Kakashi was surprised by Naruto, as the child was much more skilled than he thought, but he knew that he shouldn't be surprised. He was the younger brother of Shisui Uchiha after all, and Shisui was a beast on the battlefield himself. However, Naruto was able to rally the others, as he could see the clear, true meaning behind the tests. After that, Kakashi started to actually train them, as he focused on their elements first. Naruto's fire element was the strongest that Kakashi had ever saw, as the paper had literally imploded. He also possessed lightning as well, as Sasuke had the same. Mito possessing 2, water and also wind. First though, Kakashi had to focus on Mito chakra control, as he spent the next 2 weeks focusing on that, while he gave the boys two of the scroll that Hiruzen had gave him, as Hiruzen felt it best that he be there to monitor them in their training. However, Kakashi was shocked that they already knew the tree walking and the water walking as well. The both of them had come along a far way, as Mito was working on controlling her chakra, which was really difficult, having similar problems in the past because of his coils expanding Naruto, putting his 2 cents to help her. As they started to focus on offensive techniques, usually no Jennings would be put up this early, but Kakashi was seeing something in this team, as he wondered if this was how the third Hokage felt when he trained the legendary Sanins. So with that, of a month and a half of non-stop training, Team 7 was getting along. Sasuke and Mito tend to bicker sometimes, as the both of them share a rather feisty attitude, while Naruto was the one that always calm and stopped them from going overboard. They finally got a mission outside of the village as they head towards the land of Wave. The demon brothers were quickly dealt with, as they still proceeded onwards. Making their way, they came across Zabuza Mamakai. After running into him, they went into an offensive battle, as they had to work together to free Kakashi, which they did. However, in the end, Zabuza was saved. Returning to the house, it didn't take long for Inieri to point out that they were all going to die. It was the first time Naruto saw Mito get so angry. Something was not right here, as she told him why. She told him that she had the 9 tails inside of her. Unknowingly, Naruto had been rather affectionate, as he told her that it did not matter. Before he lost his brother or his entire clan, this was how he was all the time. However, that tended to be forgotten, given his rather cold demeanor lately. So for him to bring it out so easily in front of her, it made Mito feel like she could trust him without a doubt. As she told Sasuke the next day, Sasuke neither had a problem with that, as he merely turned it into a laughable moment, saying that doesn't change anything, as Mito had cracked up laughing, expecting the other way around when telling people about this, given the fact that majority of the people through her life, well, the villagers did not like her because of this. A week passed by in their training as Mito had met a new friend, as she did not take much stocks of it, while Naruto was working on something. As he was working on something rather big, it had to do with his flames that had the same color as the sun. When the day finally came, Naruto defended Inieri and their mother, as he made his way off to the bridge, unknowingly that he was going to experience something rather great today. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place for yourself, so say we jump right into this brand new episode. Let us begin now guys. He can't afford to be late. That was a thought rushing through his mind as he burst out of the canopy of trees. As he landed on the rocky terrain, he ran and jumped. As he ran, seeing full mist up ahead, he broke through it before his eyes located something. That is when he came across 4 Mitos. In the center of the group was Tazuna. Clones. The thought came to his head immediately. "You're here," one of them said. "Where's the real one?" said Naruto, presuming that she wasn't amongst them. "In there." One of them pointed as Naruto looked up ahead, his gaze focusing on ice mirrors, formulating to create a sort of dome. There were several gaps because they were not fully locked together. As Naruto looked towards the clone once again, the boss could see that Sasuke was outmatched. She realized that she couldn't allow him to get defeated, and besides, she wouldn't be able to protect the client on her own. So she created us to watch him while she headed off to help Sasuke defeat the enemy. However, I don't think things are going so well. Another clone spoke. "Yeah, I really think you should." The clone stopped speaking as it gripped its skull. Naruto watches all of them grip their head. "What's going on?" said Tazuna. Naruto's eyes looked fearful as he looked at the man. "Go." But I'll be just fine, said Tazuna. Go. They need your help. Naruto took off without hesitation, but before he could reach, a violent collision surged. Naruto paused as he felt it. An overwhelming sensation washed over him and washed over the entire bridge. The clones all poofed away as Naruto stood there. This was not due to his Sharingan, he could see the visibility of chakra. As a thought came to his mind, the Ninetales. That is when he saw something launch, crashing hard on the bridge. The next moment, all of the mirrors started to melt away. Naruto immediately flashed towards the downed body on the ground. Flicking it over, Naruto saw that it was Sasuke. Naruto pulled back in utter shock, his eyes roaming over Sasuke until he noticed a breath released from his throat. As he realized Sasuke was alive, just unconscious. Naruto then looked up as he saw Mito, covered in red chakra. Mito, he shouted. She turned and faced him with a growl, her eyes red and slitted, the chakra forming and bubbling around her. She dashed towards him and swung. Naruto moved out of the way. However, her speed was ridiculous. She spun and lashed out her claw hand, slashing Naruto across his chest. He had sparred with her on several occasions and Mito was never this fast. However, this was not the real her. She was not in control of her actions. Naruto took a deep breath as he calmed himself. Inside of his body, it was like a pipe just turned on. His chakra started to swell. His eyes started to glow. His body started to push his chakra outwards, giving him a layer of protection, enhancing his speed and his strength. Naruto took off, so did Mito. However, when they reappeared, Naruto was holding both of her hands as he forced them down below. Her strength was incredible as she tried to raise them. He looked directly in her eyes. Mito, he shouted. It was at that moment Naruto broke through as he collapsed into water. A confused look on his face. He tried to understand what was going on as he was in knee-high water. That is when he felt something as he turned. Mito was suspended in mid-air, red chakra hitting her from all angles. As she was struggling, Naruto ran towards her, but before he could, he was hit with a sensation as he felt like he was about to keel over and die. His Sharingan deactivated on their own, his eyes looking plain as normal. Naruto slowly turned his head as he came face to face with the beast of malice and hatred itself. The overwhelming sensation dropped him to his knees as he felt his entire body shook with a feeling of utter fear. The beast growled, its breath washing over him like a heat wave. As a voice boomed, this feeling. You are from that accursed clan. The red eyes peering down at him. The fox released his chakra through the bars, its intention to swallow Naruto. Naruto could feel his mind being broken by the strain. He could feel himself being crushed under the weight. As he felt himself given into the strain of the power, he was about to lose it any moment now. Until his eyes caught a glimpse of something. Something that was not actually truly there. It was the sun. His eyes caught a glimpse of a sun that was able to push through the darkness. A sun that was able to steer deep into his eyes and soul. His Sharingan flared back to life as the golden aura surrounded his form. Naruto's eyes, the aura that surrounded him was like a flame as it kept on consuming and expanding. Even the Ninetales was surprised. What is this power? He said as Naruto rose back to his feet. He stepped forward, seemingly in a trance, his eyes focused on the beast. The more he stepped, the more the aura fluctuated around him with a heat that started to drive the corruption and chaos of the Nine-Tails chakra away from Mito. So much so that Naruto stepped through. Mito saw him. As she saw Naruto stepping towards her, she reached out with her own will. As she extended her hand, as Naruto stepped right beneath where she was floating, the flames around him seemed to spread. As Mito break through, she fell right into his arms. Her entire form was surrounded by the yellow flames as well, as the both of them went up in a bright, all-consuming light. As the fox had a confused and curious look on his face as they vanished. The fox watched as the flames slowly died down. He knew within himself that this was not normal. In the outside world, Mito collapsed down to her knees, taking deep breaths. Much time has not really passed as she opened her eyes to see Naruto standing there. As Naruto's eyes flickered back to normal, he knelt as he started to check her over as she was fine. His chest was still bleeding though. She looked up as she had tears in her eyes, her hand shaking. I did. Naruto grabbed her hand. It's alright, he said. No, it's not, she said, pulling her hand away. I did that. As she had the faint recollection, her mind witnessing what she had done. When she was not in the right state of her mind, they heard movements as they turned. Standing there was what seemed to be a girl. As Mito was shocked, now that the mask was gone. Haku? She said. She remembered meeting him within the forest, thinking that he was a girl, but he was a boy. He just looked rather feminine, as blood was trailing down his lips. He looked rather fatigued. Haku had pushed himself to the limit, trying to withstand Mito when she used that power to fix his mirrors as fast as he could, because Sasuke and Mito was giving him troubles. And when Sasuke jumped in the way to protect her, he stood no chance, and he was defeated. Even now as he stood, he could not defeat these two on his own. He used up majority of his chakra already. As he simply smiled. It was you, all along, said Mito. I apologize for my actions in hurting you, Haku said. But you have defeated me, and a broken tool is no longer useful. However, I am glad. I am glad that you have someone like him to be there by your side. I presume your name is Naruto. Wait, how do you... He simply smiled at Naruto. I'm glad that you have someone like that to be there for you, Haku said. It seems my time has come to an end. It seems I do have one last use left in me, he said, as he used his technique to get out of there. That is when the both of them heard the crackling of lightning. What followed was Haku jumping in the path as the technique slammed right through his chest as he held on to Kakashi, trying to make Zabuza finish him off. Mito was shocked that Zabuza would go right through him. However, Kakashi was able to get free, moving away as Haku fell. Despite that though, Zabuza still fought. Yes, he did. As Mito stood there, as Naruto was holding the unconscious Sasuke, as he still haven't come to yet. Mito looked down at the body, feeling conflicted with her own thoughts of hurting Naruto and watching someone that was so gentle. As Sasuke was still alive, his intention was always to subdue. He never truly wanted to kill, even when he spoke about his precious person. How could he see someone like that as his precious person? That monster. Kakashi also felt it, that he would cut right through his comrade as he started to demolish Zabuza. Zabuza slammed into the railing as he tried to pick himself back up. When the goons and Gato revealed themselves, as Gato had a rather fun time kicking the corpse of Haku, given the fact that Haku had broke his arm when he had tried to touch Zabuza. Mito shouted at him. How could he just stand there and allow that to happen? He told her to be quiet. She didn't understand. Her following words were so powerful that it was able to melt the cold, crackling heart of Zabuza Mamakai. As he looked down, seeing the lifeless face of Haku, tears started to drop down his cheeks, dropping on the bridge. As Sasuke started to wake up at that moment, Naruto glanced over towards him. As Sasuke just looked rather confused, Tazuna standing behind them. Hey kid, do me one last favor. Give me a kunai. Zabuza asks, as Mito tossed it in the air. With his arms useless, he used his mouth. What followed was him running through all of the men. In the process, he got bombarded and hit on several occasions. However, he did slam into Gato and end his life. His body was covered and bleeding heavily as he tried to reach the Haku, but his body was failing him. That is when Naruto arrived and sink his heel in the face of the final man that tried to swipe Zabuza down. The other two tried to engage, but Naruto jumped and delivered a brutal spinning kick that snapped his head into his comrade. Zabuza looked towards Naruto. It's the least I can do. If there is anything that someone should be able to control in this world, it's how they die. As Naruto had seen a real change in this man, and Mito was the one that brought out that change. Her words were more powerful than any of them could ever imagine. Zabuza dropped down beside Haku, as Mito had tears in her eyes for the whole situation, as she was still feeling guilt on hurting Naruto as well. He said his final words and took his final breath. At that moment, all weapons raised, as they were pointed towards Naruto. The goons were not happy that Zabuza killed their meal ticket, so they were gonna pillage the town. Hearing their words, it angered Naruto, as an arrow was fired between Naruto and the thug nearby. Looking up, it was Inari and the others. However, they still felt confident despite the numbers, as Naruto looked over his shoulder. Kakashi was shocked, as Naruto cast a genjutsu over them all. What they saw was the embodiment of the village, used in the memories of the beast that he saw. A gigantic fox arrived. All of them, scared shitless, ran for their life. Kakashi was shocked, as Naruto was able to ensnare them all in a genjutsu. His eyes had not even reached maturity, and yet he was able to pull off something like that. As they all ran away, Naruto gazed up into the heavens, as the sunlight bathed over him. The slashes on his chest slowly started to release steam, as Naruto looked down with a confused look on his face. He moved his shirt out of the way, as the wounds on his chest started to vanish, almost like they were burning out of his very skin and burning away, leaving his skin freshly healed. Naruto himself was surprised, as he felt different. It was that very moment that 3 tomos arrived in his eyes as he was looking up at the heavens, his body going through physical change due to emotional change as well. As he turned and faced the group, surprising Kakashi and the others. Time skip. They buried the dead, despite the fact that they were enemies, as they plunged the blade into the ground. A grave site for Zabuza. Mito took the broken mass and placed it on Haku's grave. The remainder time spent in there at the Land of Wave. As a lot had happened, the people were finally free. Even before the final days, they were thinking what to name the bridge, as many already had an idea. The Bridge of Hope. That is what they were going to call it. Team 7 had came into the village and restored something that all of them thought that they lost. First, it started with Naruto and Iniri. They gave them back hope, and Iniri spread that hope. And that was something that they could never lose once again. As long as they had that reminder, they will always stand strong. Hope. The most unbreakable thing in the entire universe. It can never truly be destroyed. Naruto had to do something though, as he knew that he was eating her up on the inside. Arriving towards the location, as Mito was standing by the grave, speaking to the departed Haku. She heard something as she turned to see Naruto standing there. She hadn't been much talkative since what happened on the bridge. Naruto stepped towards her. He did not speak, he simply took her hands. She did not want to look at him, as he held both of her hands with one of his. He then reached up. As he held onto her cheek, he turned her face to face him. "It's alright," he said. "It's not," she said, shaking her head, trying to make him release her. "It's not alright. I hurt you. Before I found out what I was. People always say that I was a monster. Whispers that I hurt their loved ones. I always try to prove that I wasn't a monster. I would never hurt people that I've come to care about. I told myself, the day when I meet people, true friends, people like you, I would never hurt them. But I guess they were right. Even if I'm not the nine-tailed fox itself, I let that power consume me. And I hurt you. What kind of comrades do that to one another?" "I am a monster," she said. "A monster," said Naruto. "You want to know what a real monster is? A real monster would never feel pity. It will never feel remorse. It would never feel sadness. If you were truly a monster, you would have done much worse, even when you felt overwhelmed. You got angry because you thought you lost one of your comrades, and the fox used that anger to consume you. But even then, you reached out to me, because you knew the right way. You just needed help. As powerful as one become, they still need someone by their side. There is something that my brother told me before he passed. That as long as you have people around you, people that you care for, people that you can fight for, you shall never be weak, and you shall never be truly alone. It doesn't matter what you did in a fit of rage, because you fought for us. You came through for us in the final moments. And I will never, and I shall never hate you for anything like that," said Naruto. "You are my friend, and absolutely nothing in this world can ever change that. So stop it. Because in my eyes, I would never ever see you as a monster. You're my friend, and your name is Mito Uzumaki." "Got that?" he said to her. The tears well up in her eyes as she released her emotional dam on him, as Naruto held her in his arms. She had told Haku all about Naruto and Sasuke, her new team Kakashi, the old man. But out of everyone else, Naruto made her feel special. He made her feel like she can do everything that she said out of her mouth. and she would always be grateful to him for that. So the thought of hurting someone like that, it truly shook her. But to know that he stood by her, despite that, she hugged him with all of her might. Kakashi was standing there watching the scene, with an eye smile, as he left the two alone, glad that things work itself out. Time skip. Returning back to the village, Team 7 was given a congratulation on a mission well done. Despite said mission skyrocketing from something normal to something much higher, they still pull it off without losing anyone, and they came back in one piece. So yes, if that was anything to be congratulated for, that was it. Time skip. Over the next 5 months and a half, Team 7 went on several other missions. However, what they mostly focused on was their training. Sasuke did not understand, as he could not reach the final stage with his Sharingan. His eyes just wouldn't evolve beyond the second totem, while Naruto's eyes now had 3 in each of them. As Sasuke was pushing himself harder and harder, but it just would not. As Naruto had spoken to him, physical was a big part of it, but there was also a mental attribute a part of it as well. Sasuke started to meditate more, trying to see if that would be the cause, but it didn't seem to be that simple. As for Mito, gaining outside help, Kakashi was able to even focus on her wind manipulation, and she completed water walking. Her water manipulation in terms of her abilities, that was easy to get because they had tons of water users within the village, but wind manipulation was much harder. However, acquiring outside help from Asuma and also the Hokage as well, who was able to master all 5 elements. So those two had come a rather long way. However, Naruto had taken the cake when it came to it. Having access now to the 3 totem in his eyes, Naruto had spoken to another Genjutsu specialist within the village. Her name was Kurenai Yui, as he had heard about her through Kakashi, as the visual part of Naruto's eyes seemed to be more stronger than any Sharingan that he came across before. Kakashi had never witnessed a 3 totem Sharingan user affecting the area in such a wide space, as Naruto had shown that when he had cast a Genjutsu on every single member that posed a threat to the land of Wave, and given the strength of his eyes, that shouldn't have been possible, but yet he somehow pulled it off. And it did not take a strain on his eyes because his eyes seemed to believe that all of it was for one output on one person. Therefore, it seems like he was able to cast a wide range Genjutsu. As Naruto needed a different kind of help, Kurenai Yui was able to affect the area, as she was able to capture multiple people in her Genjutsu at once without any eye fabrication, so therefore, as she was able to teach him something, it was about the yin and yang chakra that he possessed, and the balance in the two. However, it seems like his yellow Sharingan was out of the spectrum when it came to yin and yang chakra. Given that it was the first that has ever been recorded, it was something that they never dealt with before. So he had to learn as he went on. However, he also had to learn how to balance the spiritual and physical energy that was coursing through him. If he was able to do that, there is no telling what his eyes could truly do, or if there would be any limits. However, there was something else. The Uchihas believe in the goddess Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun, and it seems like Naruto's eyes coexist with this. They were able to find out what was behind his remarkable healing rate on the bridge when he got slashed by Mito. After extensive tests, it seems like his eyes were able to consume small amount of solar energy from the rays of the sun, which his body convert into energy for additional boosts, or in terms of physical drain or healing. Fully aware of the goddess Amaterasu, Naruto had read deeper into the legend, as he tried to understand if this was a secret behind his eyes, as he had not come across any other Uchiha in any of the history books that was able to wield a yellow Sharingan, the goddess of the sun, as all the examples that were shown for him, the power that she produced. However, nothing seemed to add up with why he was able to do these kind of things, or how a pair of eyes were able to harness solar energy from the literal sun, a feat that should be impossible, but yet he was able to do it. The more Naruto started to dive deeper, the more he realized that with this three-totem Sharingan, his body was generating small amount of energies, slowly siphoning it off and empowering his cells, therefore giving his eyes an additional boost. But the source of this absorption was something that not even the doctors could understand. The Sharingan itself was always a difficult tool to understand, and the yellow Sharingan was something that was far beyond their pay grade. So that was rather stumped for them, and Naruto was not able to advance anything beyond that point. However, in a physical standpoint, Naruto was learning greatly, having even adding on an additional boost to the Inceptor fist style of the Uchihas, which cultivate with using all parts of the body, not just the arms and quick strikes. His brother, Shisui, had a fighting style of his own which mixed with his teleportation, but Naruto wasn't able to do that. So he had to create something special for himself, a hybrid between the two, with his own additional add-on. As for his secret technique that he was working on, with this new advancement, with his eyes being able to harness solar energy, Naruto believed that it would come a long way in boosting his technique. So yes, Team 7 had taken additional leaps and growth over the past couple of months alone. And if they kept this up, in no time they would become the strongest genin team. Unfortunately, it didn't seem like they would stay genin for a long while, as it was time for the upcoming Chunin exams. As Naruto was currently walking towards the destination to meet up with his team, his mind was focusing on something else, as he was trying to figure out how he was going to transfer a large, dense amount of energy from one point to another. He needed to figure this out if he was going to pull off his new technique that he was working on. As he was making his way, he heard something. Turning down the alley, he saw that Mito was there. She wasn't alone though. 3 kids were behind her. In front of her was a boy that was dressed in a black suit with war paint on his face, as him and Mito was currently cursing at each other because she was calling it makeup. Behind him was a girl named Temari, his older sister. Temari was laughing at Kankuro as he was arguing with the girl in front of him, and he was losing big time, as the girl was too stubborn to give up, despite what Kankuro said, and even going far as to prove that it was war paint. Well, his methods were rather weak, and Mito did not really care, having interrupted Kankuro, holding Konohamaru up in the air. Seeing his boss arrive on the scene, Konohamaru had quickly rushed behind her, along with his 2 friends Mogi and Udon. Temari felt strange. She felt like someone was looking at her, but she didn't see anyone around. Kankuro was not paying attention either, as Naruto appeared beside Mito, scaring the living shit out of all of them. He simply appeared from their perspective. His brother had taught him that a shinobi that is not seen is a shinobi that will always survive. They immediately got on guard as he simply appeared. It seems like he was ready to fight, but that was not the intention that he bring. And what's going on here, he said to Mito. She looked towards Naruto and blinked. Where did you come from? Never mind that, he said. Oh, this bastard here was just trying to rough up my friend there, she said. Naruto glanced over his shoulder as he looked towards the kids, Mogi looking towards him with heart eyes, as Naruto noticed the headband. I presume that you guys are here for the Chunin exams. That is none of your business, said Kankuro. Man, they seem to be just coming out of the woodwork, aren't they, he said. Temari looked at Naruto. This one wasn't average. She could already tell that. And besides, was all the guys in Konoha this cute, she wondered herself. As Naruto glanced up into the tree, his eyes immediately making contact with another. The both of them stared at one another till Kankuro looked up. As he immediately changed his tone, his demeanor turning into a rather scared one. The guy appeared as his eyes linked up with Naruto, now a few feet away from Naruto. No word was said between the two. They simply looked at one another. This is bad, Temari muttered under her breath. She knew when Gaara wanted to do something that would end up with someone else dead. He didn't even like when someone looked at him too long. Yet, this boy was staring directly into his eyes without flinching away. Gaara found him rather curious though. There was something about him that Gaara could not just get past that easily. Who are you? He asked, demanding to know who this guy was. It's not very polite of you to demand another's name without saying yours first, Naruto said. Gaara looked at him for a moment until he spoke. I'm Gaara of the desert, he said. My name is Naruto Uchiha. Uchiha, Temari said. So he's one of them. I should have known, she thought to herself. But which one, she thought? She heard that one of them was said to be a prodigy, a very skilled, powerful ninja for his age. The other one was right behind him. She had a feeling that this was the one. Mito did not like the way this girl was looking at Naruto. She was just staring at him like that as Mito stepped into the path, glaring at Temari, finding her gaze rather off-putting. Temari looked at her before she turned away. As Gaara and Naruto finished their little conversation, it mostly consists of Gaara finding out if he would be in the exams, as he told his siblings to come, and they followed. What the hell was that? Mito said, looking towards Naruto. Whoever that guy is, he's really dangerous. She looked at him. How do you know that? I can tell from his eyes, Naruto said. Be careful around him. As Mito watched as the group left, well, come on, he said. We do have somewhere to be. Oh yeah, where's Sasuke, by the way? He will be with us shortly, said Naruto. Hey boss. As Mito turned around, it was Mogi. Who is that? She asked. Oh, this is my teammate. He's Naruto Uchiha, she said. As Mito was looking at Naruto with dreamy eyes. Hey, what's wrong with her? Konohamaru said to Udon, as he shrugged his shoulders. Time skip. Team 7 was making their way. As they arrived at the academy and made their way inside, the first floor was a test. To test to see if they would be easily persuaded by a simple genjutsu. However, Naruto's eyes went towards the pupilless eyes of the Hyuga boy, who immediately recognized who they were. However, his gaze focused on Naruto for some reason. Since, as he knew, the two clans always had a prejudice against one another. As it chopped down to their eyes, which one was better, the Sharingan or the Byakugan? And that has always been the problem. They didn't have time for this though as they made their way, until they were stopped in the open area. Hey you! As they looked up as Rock Lee was standing there, he flipped down introducing himself. Which one of you is Naruto Uchiha, he said. That's my name, said Naruto stepping forward. Ah, so you're the one I heard so much about. I heard about what kind of genius and prodigy you are. I am here to test you, to show to everyone that hard work trumps being a genius or a prodigy. Lee said standing there. The very statement that came out of his mouth angered Naruto, and it showed on his face. Who told you that? He asked. It is the talk of the town. That is why I'm here, To set that talk correct, said Lee, as he dropped in a stance. Fight me, he said, so I can prove that hard work beat genius any single day. Your argument is really stupid, said Naruto. Even if someone's a genius, do you think that means that they don't work hard? Just because you're not classified as what they call a genius, you believe that you can call yourself a hard worker and say that the other person don't work as hard as you. Besides, if you truly believe in something, you should not be going around trying to force people to see it your way. If you believe in that deep down, you should concern about how you feel about it and how you can go on making yourself better and not concerning yourself with others. That has nothing to do with you. I don't have time for this. We're heading towards the exams. It seems my actions might have come off rather unyouthful, but I must insist that we fight, said Lee. So you're not giving me a chance? That is not what I mean, Lee said. Fine. Lee was shocked as Naruto was now standing behind him. I'll play your little game. Whoa, Mito said. He's so much faster than before. He's angry. Huh? She turned towards Sasuke. It does not show much. However, he's rather prideful in things that he believes. And this guy, whoever he is, he said his name was Lee. Said Mito, yeah, whatever. He's belittling Naruto's hard work. And all of us on this team has put in the hard work to reach where we are. And that has angered Naruto greatly. Can't you see? As Mito saw Naruto's face, Lee spun around though. As their arms collided, Lee was surprised as he felt the force behind Naruto's hand. As Naruto felt his as well, they jumped away from one another. Before they flashed forward, the steps that they took, Naruto started to mimic Lee's steps without even his Sharingan. As he dodged to the left, he turned his leg, moving from Lee's spinning kick. Lee jumped and turned and kicked out as Naruto grabbed his leg. Naruto stepped forward, therefore dragging Lee, causing him a bit of pain as he turned and spun. He released him. As Lee was flying back, he flipped. He slammed his foot on the wall and kicked off. He came barreling back to Naruto as Naruto ducked. He slammed his fist in Lee's back, causing him an obscene amount of pain. Naruto then flipped over Lee as he drove his feet into his chest. As Lee back bounced across the ground, Naruto grabbed him and flipped, causing the both of them to spin in mid-air. Naruto released him and pushed him off using chakra, as he twirled on his feet and delivered a brutal spinning kick to Lee's chin. Lee bounced across the ground rather hard as he lay there for a few seconds. Lee couldn't believe what just had happened. He was bested in pure taijutsu alone. This was his fault. He was being unyouthful and underestimating his opponent. He was told to never do that by my guy. However, he believed that he was superior because of his hard work. He felt shame as he picked himself up. He reached up and touched his face. As he looked back at his hand, his mouth was leaking blood. Standing there was Naruto, his Sharingan not even activated. So this is the result of being a genius. Immediately Naruto's eyes flared to life, as his anger seemed to kick up from Lee saying that once again. Lee felt a pressure settle on his shoulders. As Naruto started to walk, you talk as if you are someone rightful and justice in what you say. However, you are too prideful for your own good. Believing that just because someone doesn't do it your way, you believe that they have not worked or pushed themselves day after day to reach where they are. People like you who believe that just because you can do it one way that another cannot do it the other way. But know this, you might call me a genius. You might believe that just because of my eyes and the background that I was raised from, that I was given an advantage. But I had to work just as hard as you. I had to push myself just as hard as you. So don't you dare stand there and believe that there's a difference between us just because of my lineage. I shall prove that to you right now, Naruto said as he deactivated Sharingan. I will show you that even without the extra steps, whatever bullshit you're trying to compare with me is not gonna work. So this time, I suggest that you don't hold back, because when I do drop you, I don't want to hear any of your nonsense. So he knew. Lee thought to himself, fine, I respect your terms and your wishes, Lee said, as he dropped into a stance. Naruto then dropped into a stance that Lee wasn't familiar with, and he thought he knew pretty much all of the fighting stance, but this one was odd. The way he set himself, he was at a huge disadvantage. Lee couldn't understand what was going on, as both of them stared at one another. When Naruto suddenly looked to the right, before Lee could move, he was punched across the face, as a man, looking rather identical with the clothing, sent Lee crashing towards the wall. He started to scold him for fighting, and telling him that it was rather unyouthful to be doing it like this, and not in the exam that would show off his flames of youth. The man introduced himself as Guy, and said that he was stronger than Kakashi, after asking how he knew him. Team 7 looked towards him skeptical. However, Naruto could tell, despite his rather jokey behavior, there was something rather dangerous about him. He wasn't sure what it was, but there was something. Team 7 headed off, as Kakashi was there to greet them and wish them good luck. Upon stepping into the room, all eyes were turned towards them, the members trying to intimidate them. But not one of the members buckled under their pressure, as they stood tall. It soon was broken when other members started to enter in the hall, one after another, until a loud squeal was heard. Ino and the others, Ino especially, rushed over. They started to make a huge ruckus, causing someone to make his way over towards them. As the person was wearing glasses, he possessed silver hair. He introduced himself as Kabuto. Naruto found his statements rather suspicious. He's taken the exams, passed 5 times. However, his main thing seemed to be gathering information on others. Those who tend to gather information this much turns out to be spies. His brother had informed him a lot about his missions and what he had to face out there and things to look out for. And this person, despite feigning to be a genin, Naruto could tell, the way he carried himself, there was a sense of caution as he scanned the room. He caught Naruto looking at him as his eyes smiled towards him. He insulted the sound, which caused him to retaliate. However, they were stopped when the proctor came in. The first test was a test to see if they could endure what it means to be a Chunin, as it was a rather mind-messing test to see if they would give up or run. However, Mito was able to break many of the stigma as she slammed her hand down. She was still going to be the greatest Hokage ever, so she did not give a damn if she was a genin forever. Naruto smiled here and that, Sasuke cracking a smile as well as the others. Ibiki looked around. The girl was able to completely destroy the tenseness that he was creating in the room. Soon after, the window broke as someone jumped inside. The second proctor. Time skip. Team 7 found themselves in the forest. After a good 10 minutes, they finally came to a stop, as they were simply scouting the area. Tasked with an earth scroll. Their job was to get the heaven scroll. As they made their way, planning and making up code words just in case. However, they were being hunted without their knowledge. They came across someone, an unsuspected woman. She saw them and smiled. They all came to a stop, expecting her to try and come after their scroll, but something was not right. Something was gravely wrong here. Naruto could sense it. Sasuke and Mito were confused. As they looked at him, they saw the trepidation on his face. However, it didn't seem like they could sensed the sensation that he was feeling. It was the eyes. "Who are you?" said Naruto. "Oh my. More gifted than I thought," she said, as she licked her lips. "Can you feel my intent? Tell me, boy. Do you understand the difference between your strength by a single glance? Is that the capability and powers that those marvelous eyes of yours possess?" "Who is this?" Mito said, whipping out a kunai in her hand. As Sasuke set himself as he prepared himself to fight, something wasn't right here. Naruto was freaking out, as Naruto could feel whatever monster this was, and his Sharingan weren't even activated. The woman chuckled. "I must say, it seems like my test is perhaps not needed. However, I still need to see more." She appeared right in the center of the group, shocking all of them by her incredible speed. As she stood there, "Now, show me." Everyone jumped away as they landed separately. She was not there anymore. Naruto spun and lashed out. However, she grabbed his leg and tossed him with a violent force for someone so scrawny looking. Naruto slammed into a tree branch. He rolled away as her heel cracked right through the branch. She smirked as she looked at him. She lashed out with her hand, but Naruto flipped and got to his feet. Naruto rolled out of the way as Sasuke threw several kunais. The woman slipped through them, literally passing around them like her bones were made of jelly. He landed back with his group. "Whoever this is, they're not normal," said Naruto. "Do not take her lightly." "Why don't we just get out of here?" said Mito. "I don't think she will allow us to do that," said Naruto. "She's faster than us, and stronger as well. I can see it." As Naruto started to eye the surrounding area, he had no idea why he felt such trepidation standing in front of this person like this. Why was he afraid? Could they be that powerful to stun him? The woman once again pulled off speeds that they could not follow. "Mito!" Naruto shouted as Mito was sent sailing as she crashed hard. Sasuke was backhanded away as the woman stand in front of Naruto, releasing her killer intent on him. My oh my, now you're alone. Naruto turned, but she was in front of him. She lashed out and sent him sailing. Naruto flipped in the air and landed on his feet. Pulling out 3 kunais, he launched them. However, she plucked one of them out of the air and dodged the other 2. She whipped past him as she scratched him across the cheek, as she proceeded to lick his blood off the kunai. "I must say, I'm disappointed. I came here to see the younger brother of Shisui Uchiha, the prodigy that everyone was talking about, but all you've given me so far is pure disappointment." Sasuke jumped over Naruto's head as he started to attack the woman. His Sharingan activated as he clashed against her. Mito jumped in the battle as well, working with Sasuke, as Naruto stood there. What the hell was wrong with him? Why was he just standing here like a damn coward, he thought to himself. He didn't know what that woman was, but he seemed to be the only one that could feel what she truly was. And she was the strongest person that he's come across ever since the loss of his brother and the loss of his clan. Even Kakashi, Zabuza, all of them pale compared to this power. Naruto took a deep breath as words flashed through his mind. "Don't you ever get scared?" he said to Shisui. "Of course. I get scared all the time, especially when I was younger." "Then what do you do? What if you're facing an opponent that you can't beat? What if you know that they're so much above you that you can't defeat them no matter what?" "Well, that is why I told you. It's always good to have comrades. The people around you, they will lend a helping hand. Even if you're outgunned together, there is a larger possibility that you can pull it off. And if they stand by your side, that should help alleviate all of your fear. And you're fighting as one. Naruto's eyes snapped open. The three-totem yellow Sharingan, it started to spin in his eyes. The moment the woman arrived, she had been targeting Naruto. The others weren't aware of this. She had been focusing her bloodlust on him. While she was here to test Sasuke as well, Naruto was her main target. She wanted to see if he could overcome it. She wanted to see if he could break through it. That is why he was so affected, and now, calming himself, realizing that he was Naruto Uchiha, brother of Shisui Uchiha. Despite his loss, his blood still running in his veins. The Uchiha blood still running in his veins. And he refused to quit. He refused to give up. Moving at speeds as he tore through the forest. The woman turned. She raised her hand, but Naruto was behind her. The kunai that he released at the right moment, Naruto swapped place with it once again. He tore through her hand. As blood sprayed, he spun and slammed his heel right in her face. As she started to plummet down to the ground, flashing through hand sign, Naruto took in a deep breath and released a thunderous flame. It rained down on her. She dodged to the left when she saw countless shurikens. Naruto multiplied them. She twists and dodged and moved as Naruto stomped in her face, shocking her. He swapped place with the kunai behind her as he turned and drive it in both of her sides. He came as he pulled upwards. He then knocked her feet away and jumped and kicked her in the face, launching her body forward. He then yanked on the ninja wire as her body pinned against a tree. Sasuke was above him as the both of them in perfect synchrony released a massive fireball as Mito came running in, wind style. Great wind breakthrough. The technique was amplified. The woman released a blood-curdling scream. However, soon, they watch as her silhouette started to emerge from the flames. As she ripped her face off, her wound started to heal. She looked Orochimaru of the Sannin. Orochimaru looked rather surprised, as he had to say. His tongue escaped from his lips and licked his mouth. This boy was more marvelous than he thought. He looked at Naruto like he was a prize to be won. The Sannin blitzed right behind him. However, Naruto spun around with speeds that once again got Orochimaru in a frenzy. As a Sannin was feeling overwhelmed in pure happiness as Naruto jumped up and delivered a brutal kick. Orochimaru tried to catch his leg, but the boy moved in such a way, his body turning and moving, his eyes reacting at every zip and every punch. They engaged in taijutsu, their fists colliding against one another. Orochimaru stood there with a marvelous gaze. Naruto stepped back. As he started to focus, his eyes started to actually glow. His chakra started to expand once again, reinforcing his body and pushing himself to his limits. Veins started to appear underneath his eye, as it seemed like it was taking a great stress on his form. Orochimaru stood there as he watched his hair was being blown back, as an impressive aura was released around Naruto. His entire body glowing like the sun itself. The ground under his feet started to burn, his steps being burned into the ground, as he slid his foot to the right and blinked away. Orochimaru's eyes opened as Naruto stood in front of him, took kunai in both hands to bury into his skull. Mito and Sasuke were beyond shock as Naruto's speed was ridiculous. Orochimaru was glistening in happiness as he watched the boy perform beyond his expectations, and it was bringing him such delight as Naruto brought the kunais down to bury into his skull. But guys, me and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.